Alright, so here we are in the second part, and we will start out here with Vray. And the bucket mode was definitely faster than the other mode that we had, so no progressive rendering, only bucket. And there's only one little thing that we will now do here. First of all, we give it a timer so that it stops after 2 minutes. Can I even do that here? I'm not sure. Let's see. Well, not with the bucket rendering probably. So we will use here the bucket rendering because it was faster than the progressive rendering. I will also let it render out in progressive mode so we can have a little bit of an comparsion later on. What is the progressive doing, what is the bucket doing inside of Vray in this scene. And like I said, the only thing that we will be changing here now is we will block this light here, down here, and we will also activate a backlight as well. And so yeah, so we'll have now another light in the scene, and we will have this top light here blocked. So let me render this to the picture viewer so you can see what I mean. Caustics Photon Map is calculating. This is now with the caustics, of course, where we had the 20,000 subdivisions, so it really comes out clean. I think we can maybe lower this to maybe 10,000 or something like that to get a little bit of an cleaner result. And I think here in the second light, I'm not even sure if, yeah, I think we will not increase this here in the second light, we will just leave it like this. And I'm not even sure if I want to activate the second light for this test actually. Maybe I should just leave it off. I mean, this was some test that I tried to do. Well, let's see. Let's see what this scene looks like, if it's really like kind of complex to calculate. Or complex enough now. Yeah, I think I like this scene a lot actually for testing now. This will now really definitely take some time. Because this light here, up here, is now also blocked, so for Vray it's now harder to find rays. For every render engine it's now harder to find rays. And this will put every single render engine really to the test as soon as a light is blocked, or if it's behind an object. This is what you have normally in interior scenes a lot, that a light is behind an object. I don't know, in your living room, when you look at your lamp or something like that, there's probably something around the light bulb where the light needs to go through, and here it's almost the same. It's just a simple plane with the exact same diffuse, white diffuse material that has the white walls here in this room. And yeah, it's just simply blocking. As you can see, we're getting here some really strange caustics here in the back. This is probably because we did not up the subdivisions for the backlight. So this is why we're getting these strange things here in the back. So probably you have to go up here to 10,000 subdivisions as well. The best would probably be to go with 20,000 subdivisions for the top light and 20,000 subdivisions for the backlight as well. But this would probably kill our render times completely. So as you can see, we're getting here some really nice caustics now. But we would need to up the subdivisions here, definitely here in the back, to get a smoother result. So we'll do this right now. We will up the backlight subdivisions to 10,000 as well. Just add a 0 here. I think we can live with that. I'm not sure if it comes out really clean. And we'll delete the first test here, the first 2 tests, and I will show you how long the bucket render needs. And the progressive render afterwards, I will just simply stop after 2, 5 and 10 minutes to see what we get after a certain time. So let's just simply call this bucket, and we will see what render time we get. So you can see it's still calculating here the caustic photon map. This would probably take around 5 to 6 minutes because we have 10,000 subdivisions on 2 lights. The thing that just came to my mind, I think, but I'm not 100% sure, that there is a way, if you do an animation or something like that, that we could store this caustic photon map or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure if that is possible for caustics. Yeah, as you can see here, mode new map or from file. So we could save this file here, let this render this out. So we only have to render it once, and then we could reuse it actually if we want to. And this would be a huge time saver, probably around, I don't know, 6 minutes or something like that for every rendering. So after all this is finished, all the calculating is finished, I will try to save out this file and then reuse it basically. So we will see how this helps to speed up render times inside of Vray. So sorry, what I will do now, before I do anything else, I will break up this render and just show you something quickly what we will do now. We will just go into the render settings as soon as Vray let me. Oh, please let me, Vray. And then click on save actually. I hope this will be working someday. I hope I can do here anything soon. Because here, as you can see, it says, when this option is selected, new map, a new photon map will be generated. It will overwrite any previous photon maps left over from previous rendering. Save the file. Hit this button if you want to save an already generated photon map in a file. When you and then from file, when you enable this option, Vray will not compute the photon map, but will load it from a file. Hit the browse button on the right to specify the file name. So that's pretty nice. Okay. But as you can see, I still can't do anything. I don't know if Vray just simply has to empty its RAM or something like that, and it will react at some point again. But right now it just seems like I can do nada in this scene. Okay, now it's working. Even Corona is crying that not enough RAM is available. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. On render end, don't delete map, autosave file, and let's give this whole thing here, let's call this Vray photon map here, photon map, and I will just simply call this photon here. Alright. And I don't know if I can save here already something, let's call this photon 2. I'm not sure if anything was calculated. And from file, if I use this now, okay, I think we can just simply, okay, I will let this calculate now once in the bucket mode with 10,000 caustic subdivisions on every light, and then for the progressive rendering we will use this map that we rendered out here, or that we got the calculation of the photon map, and we'll use it for the progressive rendering to save some time. Okay, so the image has finished at 12 minutes and 15 seconds, even though it's still calculating, probably because it's emptying the RAM or something else, I don't know. But the picture basically is finished. We still have a little bit of noise here, as you can see. This is probably coming from the caustics. If you look here, you can see here in the caustics we still have some noise, so we would still need to up the samples, like I said, to something like 20,000. But I think for every light, but I think with 10,000 we can get away. It's fine like that. Maybe for final rendering it's not fine. For final rendering maybe 50,000 on both lights, this might help. Everything else looks good. The only thing that I don't like is the anti-aliasing here on this cube. This is because of the light here in the background, basically, because it's so bright. What might help is if we increase the filter size instead of 1.5 to 2.5, maybe this would help to get rid of this. Everything else looks okay. Here you can see what the anti-aliasing did. Was working a lot here on the back wall as well. Well, not a lot, a little bit actually. We could make this a little bit better, but these are all the automatic settings from Vray itself, so it might be fine. Here in this area it was really working a lot, and here on the edges as well, but that's just fine. And on the ceiling also a little bit more than it should maybe, but I think it's fine. And also the good thing is the photon map is now saved out, as you can see here. This is our 2 GB of information for Vray. So the only thing that I will do now is I will do another bucket render now, and I will just simply go now from file, and I don't know how I can load this file now, which is kind of funny. Let me just check this quickly how I can load this file. Okay, in the manual it says there should be a load button or a browse button if I set this here from file, but it seems like this is not really working. I don't know why, to be honest. So I cannot browse here anything, which kind of sucks, to be honest. So I don't know what to do right now because I cannot select any file. Maybe it just simply there's only save to file, and this is not really working. So if I type in anything here, nothing gets saved. Let me just duplicate this here maybe. Control C, Control V. Oh my god, this takes for ages. Okay. And then I will try something. Maybe the save button is just named wrong. Here, from file. When you enable this option, we will not compute the photon map, but will load it from a file. Hit the browse button on the right to specify the file name. There is no browse button. I mean, this is the thing for 3D Max, but it should be the exact same thing for Cinema 4D. Let's see it if we can find here a manual. Yeah, well, this is the old manual on Stefan Laub's site. Mode, new map, from file. When you enable this option, you will not compute the photo map or will load it from a file. Hit the browse button to the right to specify the file name. Yeah, very funny. Autosave file. This option is only available if autosave is on. It will cause Reverse to automatically set the mode to from file with the file name of the newly saved map. Okay. Okay. So let's just simply try this if this is working now, and let me increase the anti-aliasing to 2.5 like I said before, and let's see if this is now calculating the photon map again. No, it's not. It's not. It starts rendering right away, which is nice. Okay, so let's call this here photon calculation. It took with the photon calculation 1253. I need to write this down as well. 53 mins. Okay, and let me save this out. I don't think we need to. I think a JPEG is just fine. I don't need to save this as TIFF or something like that because this is just a comparison. I don't want to do any post work to this. So render tests, and let's call this render times, and we will just save this somehow someday when my computer responds again, and let's just call this Vray photo calculation 12 minutes 53 seconds. Okay, perfect, and here we are already rendering. So I will stop the video right here. As you can see, this of course saves a lot of time if we save this out once, and yeah, I will just pause the video and show you the calculation time for this now when this image is done. Okay, something weird is happening here. It seems like in the new image, of course, the caustics are not getting calculated anymore, but I also cannot see it here in a single pass. It's completely dark. And the thing is, also the render looks now differently. So this is what we get. As you can see, the caustics are just simply completely missing whatever happened here. Because as you can see, we have no light here anymore. Also some light here is missing, and here. If we make an A-B comparison here, let's make this B. Hello? Is this not working? Oh yes it is. Okay, B, and let's make this A. And let's make an A-B comparison. Let's zoom out. As you can see, this is completely different. I don't like that at all. I don't know what we did wrong, to be honest. But it seems like it's then not calculating anything really, it's just simply starting. Maybe it did not really load this map. Maybe this is just simply a bug or something like that, which is not so good. Also, like I said, there was no browse button, which is kind of weird. So I think we can just simply leave this test out because it did not work as expected, which is really, really bad. So we will go with 12 minutes and 53 minutes here for the bucket test, I guess. And now we'll send this whole thing into progressive mode. And like I said, I will stop this at 2, 5, and 10 minutes. So first of all, I will give us max render time of 2 minutes, and we will see what we get. We'll just simply hit on render. Also, the anti-aliasing filter radius was not really that what I expected, so it was not perfect. I think the light is just simply too overbright here in the back to really have here a good result. As you can see, this was with 2.5 filter size, and this was with 1.5. So there was not really even a big difference, I think. Okay, so let's delete this test here, and I will show you what the progressive rendering is doing now. The thing is, I think it's still trying to load this file here now, and this is why we're not getting any caustics here again, which is really, really bad. So what we are doing here is just like I said, this is not working at all, which is really, really bad. Let me see what happens when I overwrite that actually. Okay. Maybe overwriting is the new loading. I don't think so, to be honest. No, it's actually not. So we have to disable this and let the map calculate completely fresh. So we get an desired result. I don't know. Maybe this is still a bug inside of Vray 3.7 in Cinema 4D, because this is not working whatsoever. And we will just set this here to new map. And yeah, I don't want to save it actually. And we will just go to render to picture viewer now. And hopefully this is now calculating as expected. Yeah, it is building now a new Photon Map. Okay, so let's see what we get. Actually, for this progressive rendering, I think I will leave out I will look exactly how long the Photon Map building takes, and then maybe take the time away, because otherwise this would be a really strange comparison for 2, 5, and 10 minutes, because this takes alone 6 minutes or something like that, so forget that. I think I will just look how long this caustic map actually needs to build, and then we will take the time from this to 2, 5, and 10 minutes. Okay, alright, so let me start the video. Okay, it did just stop on me, because probably here after max render time and the max subdivisions, so I will just re-render this shot again, so you just know what I'm doing, because this was failing after 5 minutes and 44 seconds. The calculation time for the Photon Map was 4 minutes and 52 seconds. So this is what we then will just subtract from the whole render time. And I will just simply make screenshots, or not screenshots, I will just save out the file at 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. So I don't have to render it over and over again with the Photon Map calculation and all the other stuff. So I will just simply save the image out at 2 minutes, calculation time, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. Alright, so this is what it looks like after 10 minutes. If we get rid of the Photon Map, this would be the final image, basically, after 10 minutes. Doesn't look too shabby, to be honest. I will put this in a better comparison later on, but here you can see 2 minutes, still a lot of noise. 5 minutes, well, of course, less noise. Only here you can see it really, really good that we have a lot of noise still. And then here, after 10 minutes, still some noise here, but of course, way less than before. But it definitely would need some more calculation to really get this clean. I think something like between, I think 15 minutes probably would be good. And also we would need, like I said, 15,000 to 20,000 subdivisions here on both lights for the calculation here of the light for the caustics and so on and so on. Okay, so that's it with Vray, and I will just jump to the next engine, and then we will start the comparsion there. Let me just save that. And now we'll just go close that. And let me open this up, desktop, render tests, and we will continue with Thea in this case. And I think the best mode that we found with Thea was actually Presto MC. So we will use this mode because I think it was the fastest one that we did use, and also the one that didn't give us any fireflies and stuff like that. So I think Presto is the one to go. But I think we did have some fireflies here, right? I think Adaptive AMC wasn't too bad. But let's try it with Presto first of all, and if not, I can still switch it. And we will turn on the backlight as well and the light blocker. And now we'll see what we get inside of Thea. And I will stop the rendering at 2 minutes, 5 minutes and 10 minutes again. And then I will show you the final result. Alright, so this has finished. We can take a quick look here at Thea. This is at 2 minutes. And we also need to consider that this is not rendered at 1200 and 1200 by 1200. It's not rendered 1200 by 1200 because of the limitation of the demo version of Thea render. So we need to keep this in mind as well. I think this is probably 800 by 800 or something like that, maybe even smaller. So this is what it looks like after 5 minutes. You can still see here a little bit of noise, and this is it after 10 minutes when you look at this. Looks already pretty good, but like I said, the resolution is something else. I think Vray did there a little bit of a better job, and also on a way bigger resolution. But okay, we will jump to the next engine, and the next engine is on the list. What is it? It is actually Redshift. Okay, so let's go with Redshift. We will just turn on the backlight as well. Let me see what kind of changes did I do here to the light. 2048 samples, so we give this light 2048 samples as well. Everything else, ray, diffuse, I don't think I did change anything. Emit caustic photons, yes, we need to do this for the backlight as well, and add here another 0. Okay, that's good. And we will also turn on the light blocker here. And now we just go render to picture viewer, and let's see what we get. Now, I think the lights are a little bit too over bright in this scene actually, so I think I will turn them down a little bit. Let me see where I can do that intensity multiplier. I think I will just turn this down to 30 actually. And here in the backlight I will also turn this down to 30. Because this looks really way too over bright, to be honest. If you compare this to Thea or to Vray, 30 might be still too much. Let's maybe go with 20 or something like that. Yeah, I think 20 might be just fine. Also here with 20. This should give us, I think, a little bit of a better overall look. And let's see how this looks now. Yeah, I think that's better. That's definitely better. And I will just pause the video and show this to you when it's finished. Okay, so here we are. Redshift did, as expected, manage this pretty fast. So this was 1 minute and 48 seconds. And everything is pretty much completely clean. Maybe we would need some more GI samples, maybe a little bit, but I think it's pretty much okay. The only thing that throws me off are basically the caustics that we see here in Vray. So as you look at this picture, we're definitely getting here something down here. We're getting something here in the back and here. But we're not getting anything here with Redshift if you compare that. The light looks completely different. Also the floor looks completely different. If you compare only Thea and Vray, you can tell that Thea is also calculating this almost like Vray. Redshift does it completely different. So I'm not sure what this engine is doing exactly, if it's really the engine or it's me just being bad at this. Maybe it's also the search radius, maybe I should have lowered this, but this should not be the result that comes maybe almost out of the box. This is kind of weird, to be honest. And yeah, maybe we could, the only thing we could do, we could try to Where was this again? In the photon, we could try to send more photons into the scene. Let's try to use 5 millions. Maybe in both lights, and we will also turn off the intensity multiplier maybe to 3 in both, so we can see it a little bit better what's happening. And in here at Redshift we will also here give this maybe another 0 or something like that. I mean 5000 might be just fine. Or maybe let's do it 50,000, and caustic search radius. Maybe we turn this back down to something like 1 or something like that. And let's maybe tick this off, fast irradiance. I don't know what this really does, but fast is most of the time not really accurate, so we'll just tick this off. And now I'll let this render, and we will see what kind of image we are getting now, if something has changed to the last image of Redshift. I hope so at least, but we will see. So as you can see, nothing really has changed. It just took 1 second longer actually for Redshift to calculate that, but nothing has changed. So still this stays the same, and if we compare this to Vray, that's really completely different. I mean, okay, this light is maybe a little bit brighter than in Vray, but that's really like the only difference anyway. So I could turn this down here in Redshift a little bit, but this wouldn't make any difference here on the caustics and whatsoever. So I don't know what Redshift is doing here exactly, and maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I think it's really depending on Redshift here. So I liked, of course, the render time with 1 minute and 48 seconds, but I do not like the outcome, to be honest. This is not really something that I would expect from a render engine, but okay, that's Redshift. It's just really, really fast, but it seems like it's not that accurate, even if we try to make it accurate as possible. Okay, so we'll just save that and open up the next file, and the next file will be Octane. And this is now still my go-to engine, but I think this will change in the near future pretty much, because like I said, I'm really, really disappointed what Octane did in the first test, and I don't think this test will do Octane any good. Not really, not at all, to be honest. Okay, and we just simply put this here into path tracing mode for now. Leave everything as it is, and caustic blur we can turn on to 0.02. And GI clamp, I don't know if I can reset this here. Can I reset this anyway? Anyhow? No, no way, so we'll just leave the GI. Or let me see it at PMC. We will take the standard GI clamp here also for path tracing. And ray epsilon, let me add here another 0. Because this sometimes can cause some problems. If not, that something just simply turns black or whatever. Everything else should be fine. Resolution is okay. Let's click on render to picture viewer, and yeah, I will save this out after 2 minutes, after 5 minutes and 10 minutes again, and then we will have a quick look what this looks like. Okay, so Octane is done. We can look quickly at the render times. This is Octane path tracing at 2 minutes. This is Octane path tracing at 5 minutes. Here you can even see it, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Wasn't like really super exact, but almost. And this is Octane at 10 minutes. So not a lot of difference to the 5 minutes, a little bit of course, but it's still noisy down here, as you can see, and here and here. So I would say something around maybe 20 minutes to get it completely clean. So yeah, I was expecting from Octane a little bit more, but like I said, path tracing is probably not the best for this scene anyway. But if you run into such a scene, Octane is probably not the best way to go. If we compare this here to Vray, of course the lighting settings are a little bit different, and also what this cube picks up here from the red wall gets calculated a little bit differently here. Also this edge here compared to Vray is a little bit different. As you can see here we have a little bit of an edge. Here Octane does not give this edge anymore. This could also be because of the light. But there is still noise, so we definitely would need like 5 or 10 minutes more to really get this completely noise free. So yeah. We will put Octane now into the PMC mode actually, and see if this calculates this scene a little bit faster. And I will just go render to picture viewer, and we'll save pictures out at 2, 5 and 10 minutes again and show the results as soon as this scene has finished. Okay, alright, so this has finished, so we can have a look at the PMC mode. Was not as fast as expected, actually kind of slow in this case, slower as past tracing. So as you can see, this is after 5 minutes and this is after 10 minutes then. Still a lot of fireflies going on there, so probably I think render would take maybe 30 minutes or something like that to get this completely clean. Maybe 20 minutes would be enough. Not sure about that, but like I said, I would definitely expect from Octane a little bit more. But I think it's also definitely not the best complicated interior renderer whatsoever. So we will just go on to the next. And the next one on the list is, I think, Maxwell. Yes, it is. So I will try to save this out at 2, 5 and 10 minutes again. There is no optimization that we can do, actually. So we will see what we get. And let me change the engine here back to production. Yes, okay. It's in there. Sampling level I will just simply set to 25, so it does not stop at any time. Time limit maybe also to 120, and let's go and let's render this out, and I will show the results as soon as we are finished. I just think I will turn down the lights a little bit more, just so you know what I'm doing, because I think this is a little bit too over bright overall. Let me see what we have here in the emitter. These are not really good values anyway, but I think I will just go half here and let's see what we get. This might be a little bit too dark now, I'm not sure, but we will see. If I change anything else on the light settings, I just simply let you know. Okay, I totally forgot now to save 5 minutes and 2 minutes actually. So we only have the... Actually I did overwrite the 5-minute picture and I forgot about the 2 minutes, but anyway. Here you can see the 10 minutes picture, and as you can see it's extremely noisy still. Also the light here is a little bit overbright. I would still need to turn this down a little bit, but I think this does not affect our scene so much right now for the overall noise. There is still a lot in there. I think probably 20 to 30 minutes, probably more likely 30 minutes to get this completely clean inside of Maxwell. Like I said, I do like Maxwell. I do like what is the outcome here of the overall lighting. Also of the caustics and stuff like that, but in the end it's still a really slow engine, and this is what really is bad about Maxwell. Otherwise I really do love this engine, but I think it's really too slow. But anyway, we will compare this later on, and we will jump to the next scene, and the next one on our list is Indigo, and we will go with Indigo. I think the best one was MLT with bidirectional, or just simply the OpenGL method. So I will try MLT, Metropolis Light Transport with bidirectional mode, and I will also try OpenCL rendering. So we'll try both methods, and I will save out everything that I can at 2, 5 and 10 minutes. Let me turn on the light here as well. And let me just delete this light tag, copy this over, even though this doesn't make much of a difference. Let me activate the light blocker. And this is where a bidirectional mode now really should shine actually. And we will see what we get here. And yeah, like I said, I will save it out at 2, 5 and 10 minutes and then let you know what we have in the end. Okay, so these are the results that we are getting with Indigo. So here is 2 minutes, and here we have 5 minutes, and then here after 10 minutes. The problem is still that we have here some really bad fireflies. This is not good at all, and this would probably take quite a while to clean this up, if it gets cleaned up at all. So we will also put it now into the OpenGL mode, or OpenCL mode actually, and we will see what kind of result we're getting here. And yeah, I will of course export the pictures at 2, 5 and 10 minutes again, and then I will show you the final result. Alright, so this has finished. We can look here at OpenCL, and this is it. This is the picture after 2 minutes, this is the picture after 5 minutes, and this is the picture after 10 minutes. And I think after 10 minutes it's pretty clean. I mean, there's still some noise going on, maybe 5 minutes more, and this would be completely clean. I think I actually do like the result that Indigo renderer is producing here. You also have to bear in mind that I only have one GTX 1060. The same is for Octane and Redshift, of course. But as you can see, if we would use like maybe an RTX 2080 Ti, we would get, I don't know how much speed, probably twice the speed or more. Probably twice the speed, something like that. If they would optimize the render engine a little bit more to those cards, probably even more. So yeah, that's really good. If we would have a different card, then we could finish this shot maybe in 5 minutes or even less. So yeah, the graphic card is definitely depending. But it's for all the render engines that we are testing the same. So yeah, I really do like the result that Indigo was putting out there right now. Really need to say that. Okay, and let's go on to Corolla Render. And this is really where I'm expecting a lot right now, to be honest, from this engine, because it was so good in the last tests. So we'll definitely see what we get now. Let's check which mode we are on. I think we have UHD here, yes. And we will just go and render to picture viewer and call this UHD. And I will save this out after 2 minutes, 5 minutes and 10 minutes again, and then we will see the result that Corolla is producing for us. Alright, so Corolla has finished its work, and we can look at this at 2 minutes. You can see a little bit of noise still in there. And after 5 minutes, I think the picture is almost completely clean. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes more and it would be completely clean. And this is after 10 minutes. So I think it's completely clean after 10 minutes. I mean, if you zoom in, okay, of course, there's a little bit of noise going on, but really, if you zoom out and look at it at a normal resolution, it's absolutely fine. I don't know what they did with Corolla, to be honest, but this thing is an absolute beast. Also the caustics and stuff like that, how everything is calculated, how the reflections look like, how fast it does get rid of the noise in the scene, how fast it does all the calculations. It is pretty damn impressive. Of course, Redshift is still the fastest engine that we tested so far, but as I said, Redshift was not that accurate in any way, so Octane is... Corolla is definitely ahead there. This is absolutely insane what this engine does, and I think it will be my new to-go engine, to be honest. But before we do anything else, we will use Arnold. I could have now also tested the path tracer of Corolla, but as we know, it's definitely a little bit faster, a little bit slower than the UHD mode. So we'll just simply stay with the UHD, I guess. And here everything should be optimized. This scene should be as we left it off. And we will just simply go render to picture viewer and see what we get with Arnold here. Probably might take some time. Let me check the settings again before I'm saying here anything bad. Diffuse 4, camera A3, specular 2. Okay, that's everything is fine. Top light has samples of 3, and the backlight should also have samples of 3 actually. I did not do that. This is probably also why we get a lot of noise in here. So let me optimize this here to 3, and let's click on render to picture view again. On this scene we definitely have to optimize this a little bit again, because this is not... the settings we had before was not optimized for this scene exactly, so as you can see there's a lot of noise introduced, which is not so good. So that's not good at all actually. And I think we have to do here a little bit more in the... maybe in the light settings. Let me increase the light here maybe to 5 or something like that. And also here to 5. And let's render this again, if this helps. If not, we just simply have to go here with the diffuse a little bit higher than 4. Maybe 5 or 6 or something like that. Let's see what we get. Let's see if it's better than before, at least. Not really. Not really at all. So I think we can go back to 3 actually. And let me check this here, 3 samples, and I think we just have to go up here with the diffuse. Let's maybe put this here to 6, and let's see if that helps. And if not, we just simply have to go higher with the camera AA, which would be a shame because this is the really slow method actually, but we will see. Okay, still working. Jesus Christ, this could take now really a while, honestly. Okay, let's look at this. Definitely a lot less noise than before, that's for sure. Let's look at this thing here. Also less noise. But still noisy enough, actually, which is not good. I mean, this is our glossy cube. We could also up here the subdivisions a little bit in the... I don't know if this even helps. If you up this here in the specular, maybe. And let me put the camera A to 5, maybe. And now let's render this to the picture view and let's see if we get a clean picture here. Kinda sucks, to be honest, because this will be a really high render time. Here we'll just simply, because this is, I think there's also a progressive mode, right, for Arnold. Here in the system we could also progressive refinement, yeah, but is it only possible in the IPR, the progressive refinement? Or can you also do that in the final rendering? I don't think it's possible in the final rendering, right? Or is it? Is it? I don't think so. No, not really, I think. No, I don't think so that this is possible. I think this is only possible for the RPR, for the IPR actually. Okay, anyway, still rendering. Let's see what we get. Yeah, okay, here we lose a lot of noise. I think it's almost noise free now actually, but also kind of slow as hell, of course. I'm not sure how much I could really optimize this for Arnold, to be honest. I will just pause the video and see if I can find some optimizations here. Okay, I'm finally rendering after some tests. These are my final settings here. 5 camera A, 8 in a diffuse, 3 in a specular, 6 in a transmission. Even thought 6 in a transmission might be a little bit too much, but this shouldn't have too much impact because we only have one glass object in the scene. And here for the specular and transmission ray depth, you can see that diffuse only 2. And in the light samples we have 4 samples now. But this should finally give us a completely clean result, I think. And we will just see how long Arnold needs now to finish this, and I will let you know as soon as Arnold is done with it. So this has finally finished. I did use some different settings now. I did lower them a little bit, but the problem is we have still a lot of noise here, as you can see. So that's not really good, to be honest. Here you can see a lot of noise, and I also did render out some layers so we can see where the noise is coming from. So the direct is completely clean, which is good. This means we have enough light samples. Also you can read it here, how to remove noise in Arnold. So if the, let me check this again, diffuse direct, if this is not noise free, then you need to increase the light samples, but here this is completely clean, so that's good. Diffuse indirect is completely noisy, as you can see. So what we need to do here is indirect diffuse samples, so we would need to go higher with the diffuse samples actually. And specular direct is okay. This means specular direct, normally you would need light samples, so this is fine as well. And here's specular indirect. We also have a little bit of noise here, as you can see. So we would need to increase the specular samples here a little bit as well. So I think 1 is enough here for the specular samples, so let's increase this to 4. And for the diffuse samples, I think we need to go with something like, I don't know, maybe 8. Maybe I can bring down the camera a little bit, I'm not sure. Let's try this with this method, and I will let you know if I change anything else. So as you can see, lowering the 8 samples of course did bring back a little bit more of noise. So let's check the layers again, especially the indirect diffuse compared to the last render. And I think we have now more noise here as well, so we definitely need more camera AA, otherwise we will never ever get rid of this. So let's go back up maybe to 4 or maybe to 5. Let's try it with 4 first of all before we go to 5, because this really does cost a lot of render time. Okay, so I will try it with 5 now. Okay, so here's the result of Arnold, and as you can see, I'm still not satisfied. This is the final image, and it took 24 minutes, and it's still not completely clean. And here in the layer we can see where the noise is coming from. It's probably still from the diffuse indirect. As you can see, a lot of noise is introduced here, so we probably have to go even higher with the diffuse samples, and those samples are right now already at 8. So we should probably go with 10 here, something like that, and then camera A maybe something like 5 or 6 to get completely rid of this noise. But this would probably render between 30 to 40 minutes. So yeah, the problem is, I mean, we could also use the denoiser. This would definitely be recommended with Arnold, that's for sure. I think Arnold is just simply a really slow engine. It is a slow engine because it's CPU based and ARM bias, which is always kind of a bad combination. But Arnold was built for completely different things, not for fast rendering, not for the normal freelancer in the normal case, more for bigger companies and stuff like that have a lot of render power, a lot of CPU power actually. But rumors say that we will soon see Arnold GPU based as well, or maybe you have seen already some demos from the last Nvidia show at I think it was at SIGGRAPH or something like that. So we can definitely expect Arnold to be GPU based soon as well. I don't know how long this will take till they finally till the renderer, the GPU renderer, makes it to the public. But yeah, I think hopefully it will be 2019. I think we can expect that, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay, so these were all the tests. I will give you a little, this complete comparison. I will show you in a little bit, so we can look through all the renders that we did together. And then I will also send you the image so you can download them and look for yourself how each render engine did this. And if you like this comparison, I can set up also a new scene and maybe make a little bit more tests with those engines. This really took me now almost 2 days to record, honestly. This was really kind of hardcore because also of the render times and recording and setting it up and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that you got something out of it, and like I said, we will compare those images together in a minute.